It'd be cool if they put the MDX Type S engine in it and got like a Trailsport Type R. That would be cool, okay? I like to live in a fantasy world. It keeps me young. Welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt, and thanks again to my friends at Russ Darrow Honda. I'm spending a little bit more time with the 4th generation Passport. Earlier this year, we got very exclusive and early access to this car when it hit lots, and we showed you everything that you need to know. But today I'm spending a little bit more time with the Jeep Grand Cherokee competitor, the Subaru Outback Wilderness competitor, and Hyundai's Santa Fe XRT competitor, the 4th gen Passport, and I'm going to show you all of the best and the rest. So let's get into it. Now the first con that we're going to talk about is actually something I'm kind of mixed on. I've kind of covered it as the 4Runner controversy. Now enthusiasts will and have bemoaned Honda for not going full 4Runner with the Passport, built it on like a ladder frame, truck chassis, and that sort of thing. I mean, Toyota has had so much success with that formula that they have 2 SUVs now occupying basically the same exact space. They've got the 4Runner and they've got the Land Cruiser now. And if you expand that to Lexus, they've got the GX. So they've got like 3 vehicles basically scratching the same itch. So the market's there, and enthusiasts will say, well, why didn't Honda capitalize on that? However, I've read a lot of the comments from our first Passport video, and it seems to me that Honda has delivered with this Passport for what their buyers actually wanted. People like the size, people like the styling and the attitude, people like the level of capability without the big truck-based chassis trade-offs. But most of all, and overwhelmingly based on the comments from our first Passport video, is people seem to like the simplicity of the NA V6 under the hood here. So I guess the truth is you can look at it as a pro or a con depending on who you are and what you need. But I've got a friend who was interested in a 4Runner, and yeah, I think he'd be a little bit more at home here in the Passport. And now, since I'm a professional, I'm going to contradict some of what I just said. People love the V6, that's not up for debate, but I do think it would be cool to see a high-performance, twin-turbocharged, big-power version of the Passport, and or a hybrid option. Honda's 2-motor hybrid system works phenomenally well. I'm not sure how it would translate to this, but it would be cool to see a couple more options. I mean, could you imagine if they stuffed Acura's MDX Type S, that 3.5 twin-turbo V6 under the hood of the Passport, and had like a Passport Trailsport Type R? It would be like Japan's Raptor. That would be really cool, no? And like any modern car, it's not perfect. There's a handful of little nitpicks, but with the Passport, I've really only settled on one that I think is worth talking about, and it's for all the pomp and circumstance about this being the most capable, the most go-anywhere Honda that's ever Honda'd. It's got less ground clearance than the Subaru Crosstrek that we were, not the Crosstrek Wilderness, but just the normal Crosstrek hybrid that we were in the other week. It's got less ground clearance than a Ford Bronco Sport Badlands. It's got 8.3 inches of ground clearance here versus the 8.7 in the Subaru and the 8.6 in the Ford, which just is a little bit of a head scratcher. But with all that being said, it is still very good off-road as we've seen, and there's plenty to love about this Passport. So let's talk about the pros. And the first pro I want to talk about is the legit off-road chops that you get here in the Passport. Now, Honda's labeled this as their most off-road capable Honda to ever Honda. And so far, it seems like that's kind of true. You've got off-road tuned suspension, you've got general grabber all-terrain tires, you've got a beefed-up all-wheel drive system as standard that'll send like 70% to the rear. You've got a torque vectoring IVTM4 system. Your rear drive unit can handle 40% more torque and 30% faster response. So it's going to be better and a more robust all-wheel drive system, especially in inclement weather, in loose grip conditions, and those sort of things. We talked about the 8.3 inches of ground clearance and what that means relative to competitors, let's say, but you still have TrailWatch 360 cameras. You've got a front camera that'll stay on up to 15 miles an hour. Your back camera will stay on up to 12 miles an hour. That's super handy for off-roading. You've got steel skid plates underneath for your Trailsport trims. You're gonna want that. And you've got 23 degrees of approach angle. You've got orange recovery hooks. You've got standard hill descent. I mean, aside from being built on like a truck chassis with a part-time 4x4 system and a locking diff, this thing scratches pretty much every itch. And I think one of the strongest points for the new Passport, and the reason that I see so many of them driving around, is that the styling and the attitude they absolutely nailed. It just looks freaking cool. You've got a funky hood vent, you've got Passport stamped into the grill bar, you've got amber runners. Kia's gonna be a little jealous of these. But you've got recovery hooks up front, you've got fogs, you've got skid plates underneath. Around the side, you've got 18-inch wheels wrapped in General Grabber all-terrain tires. They're a 31-inch tall tire, which is almost as aggressive as like a TRD Pro Tundra. But then around the body, you've got black accents, you've got roof rails, you've got a classic SUV boxy profile. It kind of reminds me of the Bronco Sport just from profile, but you've got a squared off rear design, you've got kind of a black mustache above your license plate, and you've got Passport stamped into the tailgate. And what it comes together as is just a clean, classic, rugged design that knows exactly what it is and what it's trying to be. And I love that. But one of my favorite things about this Passport, and one of the reasons I'm glad they didn't go full 4Runner with it, is the way that this drives. Now we'll start under the hood, and one of the people's favorite things is that you get the 3.5 naturally aspirated V6. That's from the Pilot. There's no VTEC in it, but it makes 285 horsepower. That's up 5 over last year's car, and 262 pound-feet of torque. That's the same as last year's car. It's good for 20 to 21 mpg, depending on if you go for all-wheel drive or not. It's got a 10-speed automatic, and just overall, people like the simplicity of it. There's no complex turbo, there's no complex hybrid, and I know I talked about some of that stuff earlier, but it's just simple. And in something that is supposed to be able to go to remote places in the world and off-road and adventure, you kind of want something simple and reliable and tried and true. And outside of that, it drives like a Honda. The power is smooth. The steering has a nice natural weight and heft and response to it. The seating position is nice and normal. I don't feel like I'm sitting super, super high up and I'm not being jostled around. The suspension makes sense. The tires make sense for what this is. There's not too much roar. It's a nice, refined Honda driving experience. It's just good. And of course, in your go anywhere, do anything off-road SUV, you want to be able to bring your stuff with you. And well, you certainly can with the cargo area here on the Passport. The space back here is immense. With the rear seats up, you're looking at 44 cubic feet of space. That's class leading. You fold those seats down, and you're looking at 83 cubic feet of space. I mean, it's just palatial in here. You've got pockets, you've got an underfloor storage area with some dual functionality. You've got MOLLE panels that you can swap off these side panels for. You've got a temporary spare included. You can fit a full-size spare with some of that trunk versatility that we talked about. You don't have a separate button for close and lock, but you can get this like shelf picnic table accessory, and that's probably the coolest thing. You've got these little grooves here that you can place the table on. So you have a 2-tiered storage solution. You take the table out, it's got 4 legs on it, and then it functions as a table, like the old Honda Element, and that's just awesome. The only thing that I might complain about in the trunk is that you've got an outlet back here, but it's only up to 150 watts. So it would be nice to see a little bit more power if you wanted to use your car as like a generator to run your campsite, because that's really the only thing that I can ding the trunk area on. So pretty impressive. And then you've got all the tech that you could want, aside from a head-up display. Not getting a head-up display, but you've got a fully digital instrument cluster. It's like 10.2 inches. You've got a 12.3-inch massive center screen. That's standard across the lineup, which is fantastic. You got Google built in with like 3 years of included subscription. You've got wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You got 360 cameras that actually are really decent resolution. You've got trail cameras when you're in off-road modes. You've got a wireless charger down here, some places to put your phone. And when it comes to your safety suite, you've got Honda Sensing as standard. And it's not like a top 5 system, but it's certainly nice enough to be helpful on long journeys, so I'm not missing a single feature that I would want to see. I mean, you've got everything here. And a minute ago, we talked about how big the trunk is, and that generally means making a compromise between rear seat space and trunk space. But as you can see here in the Passport, no compromises were made for the rear seat. But starting with some of the features, up top you have a pano roof for basically every trim aside from the base RTL. You get shades on your rear windows, which I absolutely love to see. The doors open about 90 degrees, so it's super easy to get in and out, even with kids. It's a great space back here. I've got loads of knee room here at 6'1". I've got plenty of headroom. It's a nice flat floor, so I don't feel cramped in any way. I've got pockets, I've got chargers, I've got vents. We've got heated seats, no cooled seats back here, but we've got our separate climate zone back here, which is fantastic. Again, we've got another 150 watt household outlet back here. So between the two, you can run a number of different things, which is just awesome to see. So it's spacious, it's well upholstered, and it's got all of the features that I could want to see in the back of a Honda. So huge win in the back seat of the Passport. And one of the things that I appreciate with the Passport is the cabin experience is actually fairly nice. It's not just like some scratchy black plastics that are kind of cheap, but they do it with the wink wink nudge nudge. It's durable, it's easy to clean. It's just legit nice. You get Trailsport headrest stitching, which is really cool. You've got seat detailing all the way through with some orange for some personality and some flair. You've got heated and cooled seats up front here on our tester, our Elite anyway. You've got a heated steering wheel. You've got Passport across the dash to give it a little bit of ritziness. You can get a couple color options. You can get a two-tone brown, which I think would look really, really cool. And of course you get black, and the black comes with the orange that we've seen here. You've got a push-button gear selector. Some people have feelings about that. I think you get used to it, but it just looks and feels pretty nice. You've got a passenger side dash cubby that's rubberized with that little topographical map that we'll show you later. You've got physical climate control. They're nice and clicky and tactile in the way that I like that Honda does. It's in my wife's CR-V. It's done well there. It's done well here too. And you've got really spacious feeling cabin. The center console is low, so I feel like it's nice and open and airy. I don't feel cramped in my big off-roading SUV. It's just good. It's just done well. What can I say? And so far you can probably tell that I've been pretty impressed with the Passport, and that even continues when you get to the almighty dollar. As base, the RTL starts at $44,750. All the way topped out in an Elite Trailsport Blackout, you're looking at $53,650. It sounds like big money, but you compare that with a 4Runner, and granted I understand it's a very different kind of vehicle, but just hang with me for the sake of this argument. A 4Runner starts at $41,000, and that's pretty base, and 4Runners can go up past $65,000. And I understand that invoking the 4Runner is going to ruffle a couple feathers, but hang with me as we go for a drive because I think I'll make my pitch there. But for now, let's cover some of the funky little odds and ends. Like, first of all, you've got topographical or kind of mountainscapes here for your wireless charging mat, and in your passenger side dash cubby. You've even got some mountainscapes, of course, for your Trailsport designation in your headrest. And outside of that, you've got this like digital camo Art Deco design that goes through your door cards and in your center console, across to the other side, and into the rear. It's also worth mentioning you can get Bose audio on your Passport. And of course, as you can see, you've got Google built in here, and you get 3 years of a data plan included when you buy your Passport. And they went full send on the off-road Trailsport thing. This has the most accessories ever available to a Honda. You can get rock sliders down the side of your skirts. You've got a picnic table that converts into a shelf, as we talked about before. You can swap out these for molly panels if you want a little bit more utility. And there's like a generator you can put in here, a spare tire carrier, and you've got like 5,000 pounds of towing. So this will do anything you want. Now with that, let's get behind the wheel and go for a bit of a drive. Hey guys, real quick, Matt here. Just wanted to say I hope you've been enjoying the video. If you have, would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it does go a long way in helping us get access to cars sooner and get access to manufacturer engineers so we can get more information on the cars and get you more information so you can make better decisions. So would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe, like, comment, the whole YouTube thing. But with that, let's get back to the video. Passport Trailsport V6, silky, sultry V6, no hybrid, no turbos, none of that newfangled nonsense. It's just good old classic Honda V6. I joke a little bit, but that seems to be what people want. I mean, I've read the comments in our Passport video from earlier this year, and people absolutely love the powertrain options. And I know that makes me look like a clown because earlier in the video I was like, it'd be cool if they put the MDX Type S engine in it and got like a Trailsport Type R. That would be cool, okay? I like to live in a fantasy world. It keeps me young, so I think it's fine. Also, it would be cool to see a hybrid moving forward in maybe non-trail sports, just like normal traffic passports. But either way, I think what I want to talk about, I've covered all the pros and cons, and I think the thing that I want to focus on behind the wheel here as I just riff is this, and it hit me after I had filmed the first Passport video, and I didn't really include as much as I wanted to, but I think this is the 4Runner for people that are more honest with themselves. And what I mean by that is, like I mentioned, I have a friend that I used to work with, and he's really into 4Runners. Why wouldn't you be? They're cool. I used to have one, but the truth is I had one, and like I went off-roading in it a couple times. So what actually would have like served me better in the 95% of my driving that I did is something like this, a unibody. It drives better. It's just a more car-based thing. It's more refined. It's gonna get better fuel economy. It's just gonna drive and be a little bit better. So I think with the styling and the attitude that you get here, and it has legitimate off-road stuff. I mean, we've got 360, we've got all the stuff, wheels, tires, the whole thing. So it does have legitimate off-road capabilities for people that don't live out in Colorado or need to do Moab or things like that. It's just a good, honest thing that someone could buy that is maybe a little off-road curious and wants to try a couple things without getting too crazy. It's got some skid plating underneath, so if you bash a rock, you probably will be okay. Maybe get some rock sliders on the side. One of the million options that you can get and accessories that you can get for this thing. But I do think this is probably the forerunner for people that are honest with themselves about how much off-roading they're gonna do. Now, obviously, the people that need a forerunner and want a forerunner or a Wrangler or a Bronco, you know, obviously, if you just want something like that, that's cool. But if you go camping like once or twice a year and you just need to do some dirt trails and maybe like a couple little like hill climbs and things like that, you probably could get away with this. And then this would make a better daily. So I think that's really my ultimate point. I'm overall just very impressed with this Passport. I think it looks cool. I think the size is near perfect. You got a huge trunk, huge back seat. I've got all of the tech features I could want. It's a nice kind of classic, old school, reliable, simple powertrain situation going on. It's just, I think it's done well. I think Honda nailed it. And yeah, it would have been cool maybe to see them bring, you know, a true forerunner competitor, but for what it is, it's a great little SUV. So with that, thank you to Rustero for letting me have a go. Thank you to you for watching. Hello, guy on the side of the road picking up trash. We'll see you in the next one.